Welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We sell all the coolest Japanese collectibles and figurines straight out of Japan, and you can find out more details about us in the description of this video, including our Facebook page and our online store. And of course, we really appreciate you guys supporting the channel so we can keep making videos to show you guys some awesome stuff. So this is actually quite a different video, to be honest. So usually the videos we do are figures that we sell from Japan. But as you can see, these are not figures, and nor were these from Japan. These were never released in Japan. In fact, they weren't released in even many Western countries. And these are called Dragon Ball Z DIZKS, DIZKS. And they're basically Tazos. But these are actually very special to me because this is what got me into Dragon Ball. It was actually these discs, because these came out in 2001, and at the time I'd heard of Dragon Ball Z. I knew of it. Maybe I'd sort of half watched a couple of episodes, because I think at the time, up until then, it had really only been shown on pay TV or cable TV, which my household didn't have. But it was only once these were released and people were collecting them and stuff that I saw the characters and the artwork and things, and I thought, this is actually a pretty interesting, cool series. And that's what actually made me get into it, start watching it. I remember the first episode I properly watched, was when Bulma gets the bit like that picture. I'll show it up close in a moment, of when the second time machine, the farmer guy, finds the time machine, and that of course is the sort of beginning of the Cell saga. And then of course the Cell saga is pretty badass, as we all know. So there were actually 40 discs in the collection, so I'll just, as I talk, I'll start showing some of the discs here. So now you'll see they actually have a power level. And they also, on the back, they have the stars. And there are different versions of the same disc. So not all the Gokus will have a power level of 400, etc. There is a pattern. It's not completely random. I think each disc has about 3 different power levels and 3 different stars on the back. Something like, don't quote me on that. I think some people have figured it out over the years, but I remember even back in the day when I was collecting these, I really didn't care how much power level or stuff they had. But yeah, so you can see the red ones are meant to be the good guys. I remember the TN. I was like, man, he's like this cool, Shaolin master, 3-eyed guy, and I think most of these are taken from, these are direct pictures from the actual series. So yeah, so I really didn't know much about Dragon Ball, when these came out. And then the black ones are the bad guys, so you'll notice Vegeta is actually classified as a bad guy. So as I said, these came out when the Android saga was showing. So, Vegeta, I think it's fair to say, was, well, I guess in a transition phase, but given that up until then he had been a bad guy, it probably made the most sense that they kept him as, the bad guy in black. And then the yellow ones are the power-up versions, good or bad. So these were kind of the cool ones. I don't think there was a big difference in rarity. Well, I don't think there was any difference in rarity depending on whether they were the red or the black or the yellow or whatever. Yeah, so, and then they came in the packets. They would come with a little, I don't actually have one to show you here. It was like a little rectangular cardboard piece, and then you'd fold it, so it would kind of make an upside down V, and then it had a little slit in it, and you could put the disc in it. I actually got these from, I think, a Tazo folder, so you couldn't actually buy these with the set. And then there would be different games, but I think the way we usually played these as a game was you just flip them like heads or tails, and then if it landed the character's side and the other person was the other side, then you would win. And if they were both the same heads, I guess you call these heads, then the higher power level one, and tails the higher star one. And then, so this is kind of the cool sheet. So each version had a fluoro version, and then each character, I should say, had a fluoro version, and then each character also had a gold version. So even ignoring the different power levels and the different stars, each disc had 3 different variations. There was the standard version and the fluoro and the gold. And they were pretty rare, actually. It was pretty hard to get the fluoros. The only reason really I was able to get so many fluoros is one of my sister's friends would buy a packet of chips every day. And so towards the end of the promotion, there was a lot of fluoros just at the end. So like nearly every day towards the end, I was getting a fluoro, which was pretty badass. And then the golds was super rare, man. I actually remember my grandma had these packet of chips, and I noticed it. I'm like, oh, can I have the thing in that? And she's like, yeah, okay. And then we went out, and my cousins were there too. And my cousin then asked, oh, can I have it? And my grandma was like, oh, I already promised, to give it to me. And so I quickly, when I opened it, I grabbed it, and I could just see the little gold. And I didn't want to like open it in front of my cousins. So later I opened it, and it was Trunks. And Trunks is my favorite character, some of you will know. So that's really badass that I got the Trunks. So that was the first season. And then there was a second season release the following year in 2002, and this was the Boo Saga. And it's worth noting that, at least for me anyway, like even I didn't really know, the internet wasn't like so mainstream then. There wasn't social media and all this sort of stuff, YouTube. So I didn't really know anything about the Boo Saga, and I think most people didn't either. So there was a lot of new characters here, the Kais, Super Saiyan 3, Gotenks, What's Fusion, and then of course some of the new bad characters like Dabura. I don't know why they have Cooler, to be honest, but Dabura, Boo, all that kind of stuff. So this was a really anticipated release. You'll notice the shapes of these are quite different. They're hexagonal, octagonal, hexagonal, 6 sides, and they have little slits in them that you could construct things. I don't really remember people doing that. So this one had there's 20 here, which are just the normal discs, and then that's right, there were 30. So there were 30 of the normal discs, and then what they did was they combined those 30 to make sets of 2 as lenticulars. So they're exactly the same design, but so you'll see here Goku and Pikkon, and then Majin Vegeta, Super Saiyan Goku. So I think 5 of them are meant to be battles. So you see Spopovich, Videl, Majin Buu, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and then Evil Buu and Krillin. Some of them don't really make sense just because they're kind of left over. And then they have the teammates. So you've got like Gohan and Trunks, and then Babidi and Dabura and stuff. Again, some of them don't make sense, like Grand Kai and Hercule or Mr. Satan. And then the last ones are the power-ups. So you've got like Gotenks to Super Saiyan Gotenks, etc. And then the final 15 are they were like 3D ones, and these are from direct scenes from the actual series. So I always love that one. That's when he's fighting Pikkon. You can see Gohan pulling the sword out. So these are also, they're kind of lenticulars, but they're meant to be like 3D type versions. So now these were actually rarer. I do remember they were harder to get. But yeah, I honestly don't know how I managed to get the whole set, because it was quite an effort to get 60 of them. But I do remember, I don't know how I found out, but someone said if you actually wrote into the chip company and you asked them like for a few of them, they would actually give them to you. So I remember I'm pretty sure I had 9 left, and you can see these also have power levels which are much higher than the other ones. Oh, so these are also color coordinated. So the red are the bad guys, the green are the good guy. What's green? I don't know, actually. Or were they random? Maybe they were random. I don't know. Because Babidi is green. Boo is blue. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure what the... Yeah, maybe it was random, so maybe they have different... I'm not sure about that one, to be honest. Yes, I wrote into the chip company, and they actually sent me all 9 of them. But the problem was, I distinctly remember it was Gohan. So the standard version, it had like a special... They also had special versions where the font would kind of be like an Asian font, like kind of bamboo forest or like chopstick font, where like the characters actually like cross over like that. So if you have an A, they sort of crisscross. Which was kind of cool, but then all the others I had were the normal version. So then I had to contact them and ask for like just the normal version. Then they're like, oh, you already asked for some. So, so I think I got that from my cousin maybe. And you'll also notice these actually have little symbols. I think that was just for gameplay, but I don't really remember playing the game. And then there was actually a third version, a third set the year after, but I didn't bother collecting them because I was just kind of over. It was a lot of effort to actually collect these, and yeah, and also they had sort of side bits on them. They were like spinning top things, so they didn't even fit in the sheets. So I didn't actually bother getting these. But yeah, very, very cool. Love to know what you guys think. Maybe you collected these back in the day, or maybe this is the first time you've ever seen these. But like I said, very special for me, nostalgic for me in my own collection, and I hope you guys found it interesting for me to share this with you guys. If you want to see more great content about Dragon Ball Z and other great anime and manga from Japan, please check out and support the channel, and of course check out our online store. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.